Hi, my name is Dave Land, and this is my Session 3 response video for Law 517 at Colorado Christian University. Today I'm going to be talking about the 4 questions that we were prompted to respond to in Session 3. The first question being misconceptions that I had about the U.S. Constitution prior to taking this course. I had three misconceptions that I'm going to hit on today. The first one being that the separation of church and state was never actually mentioned in any of the founding documents. That was something that kind of the secular agenda throughout the years has been placed in there, and prior to this course I was under the understanding that that was in our founding documents to have that separation of church and state. So I'm glad I took this course and found out that that is not the case, and moving forward can make sure that I interpret any of the founding documents under the divine law through God's authority. The second misconception I had was actually of the legal background and accolades of the framers of the Constitution. I was unaware of how many of them had legal backgrounds. Of the 55 framers, 32 of them were lawyers. That was something that I was unaware of. I didn't realize they were so well educated, and really it makes sense now that this document has maintained its supremacy throughout the 225 years it's been in place, thanks in part to the legal wording and all of the supporting documents that the framers were able to bring along with all of the founding documents. The last misconception I had, I was actually under the, I thought that the people that signed the Declaration of Independence, as well as the U.S. Constitution, I thought that that was the same group of people. And throughout my research, I found that only six people signed both of those documents. That's something that I found fascinating, especially considering it was only 9 years between the documents. I thought there would have been more than 6, but that was one of the misconceptions I had heading into this course. The second question I'd like to address is the founding documents hierarchy pyramid, which is found in The Legal Basis for a Moral Constitution on page 61. Right there. First, bottom rung of the pyramid, divine law. Obviously, this is the most important, as it provides the foundation and support which allows the other 3 to be in existence. Without the foundation of divine law, the other 3 the Federalist Papers, U.S. Constitution, and Declaration would all fail to have that substance that they need in order to remain relevant for throughout the course of the 225 years. Divine law gives them the legitimacy and substance needed in order to keep them within the forefront of people's minds. The second rung, the Declaration of Independence, is described in our book, provides the nuts and bolts for our new government, kind of provides the blueprint for what our new government should be and how it should operate. The Federalist Papers provide the substance and rationale. This works hand in hand, as the Declaration was more of the nuts and bolts. The Federalist Papers provided the reasoning and rationale behind why the new government was needed by the American people. The U.S. Constitution acts as, in our book states, the supreme law of the land, which still we operate by today. The third question that I'm going to respond to, the importance of the U.S. Constitution and having legitimate authority in divine law. There's actually two quotes from our text that I'd like to point out. One is, any interpretation of the U.S. Constitution needs to be consistent with divine law, biblical morality, which will allow it to abridge our unalienable, discoverable rights endowed to us by God. The second quote from our text is, it is a legal document which has a sole purpose of preserving the unalienable rights under the legitimacy of the Declaration of Independence and God's vested authority, which is structured and formed in accordance with divine law. Both of these quotes are found on page 111 in our text. Basically what that means to me is that, divine law, it is, without divine law, there would not be any legitimate authority behind the U.S. Constitution or any of our founding documents. The fourth question, anything I'd like to add? It still marvels me the tremendous foresight that the framers of all of our founding documents had when they were creating these documents. For them to be able to make these 225 years ago and still have them be relevant. They're as relevant today as they were when they were created. That's something very powerful and something that was a great accomplishment for our country, as well as, for these guys to be able to have the foresight to, allow us to have such a strong foundation for our government. That's it. Thanks.